Cool.
All right. I will just start. So, welcome back, everyone. We'll start the second data analysis lecture or training. That's completely fine, FA. No problem. Oh, well, I just joined at the right time. Right. I didn't know what to call this lecture because we'll be covering two different things. The first one being the data analysis overview from last week, and also some fundamentals of data going forward. So that's why I called it a data analyst, trying to put a nice general overview. And at the same time, I'm also trying this new video recording format. I hope it looks good, and then it doesn't look as bad as the last previous one. All right, let's go. As I said, every single lecture starts with an agenda. The agenda will be a recap and the homework review, and then going over what a data analysis lifecycle is. And then also cover two more sections, which is the importance of data analysis and the role of data analysts in a company and business. And then I will give you an introduction to fundamentals of data, and we'll go more over it next week. And then from week 4 onwards, we'll be doing statistical techniques and learn about where to apply them. For example, Google Sheets, Excel, Python. That's from my side. And I will leave you guys with the homework. So let's start with the homework. So who wants to go ahead and introduce themselves? Any volunteers? I know FA is at work, so she can't do it. But anyone else? Any volunteers, guys? Introductions. Oh, is that someone that wants to go?
Yeah, hello.
Okay, go on, Emmanuel.
Yeah, my name is Emmanuel. I've introduced myself before.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, I studied data science and its applications here in the United Kingdom. My background actually, I started out in IT. I started off as a systems administrator. Uh, that was in 2000 and something. Let me not mention the year. It's a long time though. I don't want to scare anyone, but yeah, a very long time. So, and yeah, here I am today. I've been trying to, break into the IT market here in the UK. It's just been very, very difficult. I've been doing, uh, interviews here and there. And just the same story for most of us. We're just doing what not like what we love doing, just to pay bills, to be honest. So yeah, that's pretty much my story. So I'm here at Amatip with the hope of uh gaining more experience in data analysis and eventually landing myself a good job in data analysis. Yeah, so that's it for me. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you very much, Manuel. I have two questions for you.
Yeah.
You said you did data analysis in the past. What do you like about data
Data
analysis?
science.
Data science.
Okay. Okay. So what? Yeah. So what I like basically is I'm a pictorial person. I like pictures. I like to see data being visualized. When you do a couple of codes,
Mhm.
and the next thing you're seeing maybe maps. Like in Power BI, or you're seeing bar charts and all of that. I just like to see. I'm that kind of person. Would like to have an artistic mind. So yeah, so that's what I like about data analysis. And again, I like the fact that it gives you a historical idea of events, you know, um, so that you're able to make informed decisions, you know, um, as to, a business, maybe content pertaining to a business or, any other kind of concern. Because data analysis is all encompassing. You can actually use it in every sphere of life. I just came to understand that data analysis is actually more powerful than what a lot of us think in healthcare, construction, you know, in law enforcement. I mean, data analysis, you can't do without it, you know.
Very good.
So
Yep.
yeah, that's
And
what I like about data analysis. You can work almost anywhere.
use it anyway, nice. And you can
Yeah.
make informed decisions with them. Good. Okay, my second question. Are you going to join us on Discord?
On Discord. Okay, How do I join it, please?
I've sent a link in the I can send a link in the messages here, or you can join
Okay.
from the training dot no coaching.mntblog.co.uk, and I added a link in the discussion page, and it's also on
Okay.
WhatsApp as well, the invite link.
Man, I'm lost, honestly. This Discord, what is it about really? I'm sorry.
So I remember you saying you want to try and experience what a work life of a data analysis is like, or data
Yeah.
analyst is like.
Yeah. So that's what Discord does for you.
Discord doesn't do that. Discord is a communication platform. It's like WhatsApp, but
Yeah, that's okay. That's I was
companies use
asking.
that, so it's like instant communication between members.
Okay.
And then what happens is I will start posting messages there about work to do, what to learn, and etc. It will be our communication platform, as per se. Rather than using emails, which means you have to log into your Outlook account and look for it, you can use Discord like an instant message. I prefer it over WhatsApp, and a lot of companies also use this. It's like better version of Teams, in my opinion.
Oh, a better version of Teams. Okay. So it says, what should everyone call you? Okay.
You can give it any name you want, and you can join us there.
Yeah. Okay. Look, so we have more people here on Discord. Okay.
Most of us are joining here, I think. I will try and chase up on the people that I missed out, and I'll start posting messages there on work that we're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
All right. Next up, who wants to introduce themselves? Amos, do you want to do it? Do you want to give it a shot?
Okay. Hi. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Amos.
Okay. My name is Amos. I've been doing digital marketing for several years. Even when I was analyzing those data then, I didn't know that I was doing data analysis because that was actually data analysis I was doing then. Then I was using Google Analytics.
Mhm.
So with the Google Analytics, I get I go to the backend to get the charts, then visualize. Then I was able to put some reports together for managements to make their decisions, to know where to spend more on advertising and using several keywords. So, but several years down the line, I realized I actually have a flair for data. So that's why I was trying to switch. So like I said before, I took a bootcamp training on data science. So I actually have experience. I can write, will I say intermediate now, SQL code. I can say I am at the intermediate level. So I also have experience with Python. So I can write Python codes, and I know some functions on Excel. Most of the functions, I just need to refresh my skill with this training when we get to that stage. Also, I've already joined Discord and LinkedIn. And you also said what field you like to join.
Yes, that's correct.
The training, yeah. So looking at retail and e-commerce, and also banking and finance. Yeah, so and probably I can also add maybe healthcare. So if I can take like 2 data sets each on each of those different fields and probably create 2 portfolios each from there, I feel I should be able to have more understanding if I can handle a full, 2 full projects from those different fields. So I think I've covered most of the questions.
That's good. One more question. Why do you like data analysis?
Yeah, I actually have an analytical mind. I like seeing things from different angles. So I was actually working on a data set yesterday, and looking at the data set, I was able to, it blew my mind because I was able to realize that I can narrow it down to where checking the sales record, I was able to narrow it down to where the company is making less sales. So that really blew my mind. So the reason I really liked it because I just love I love calculations. I love trying to solve things. So I'm a problem solver.
Oh, nice.
So that's my major passion for going into it.
Nice. Thank you very much. How do we say your name again? Amos or Amos?
Amos.
Amos, yep. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
By the way, before we carry on, I just want to make it clear to everyone, the reason we're doing this is so we can be free when we're talking with our colleagues over here, and then we can try and communicate and find out who has experience and who doesn't have experience. It's good because when you go for an interview, rather than freezing up and stuttering, the more you talk to your colleagues over here, the easier it will be. Because I'm sure most of the people in this course have never met each other before. Is that correct? You don't know each other out of this course?
No, I don't.
There we go. So the more you collaborate with each other, the easier it will be, and it will be like a real life scenario. So guys, don't worry if you are scared or if you're worried. Everyone's at the same place, so it will be a good experience. So who wants to go next? If no one volunteers, I'll start picking.
No, I think I'll go next. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bola. Prior to my relocation, I was in the banking industry in Nigeria for over 15 years. And then when I left banking industry, I went into entrepreneurship training and all that. And I remember one day, so what we would do with this training is that we gather people with businesses and we'll help them, those who have business ideas and those who are at different places in business, and we actually help them look into their books, their finances, look at what they are doing wrong, and generally help them start the business or help them, upskill. That's what we would usually do with such programs. And I remember one day, and we will get mentors for them. So I remember one day there's a particular guy who says that he wants to go into IT, Python. I'm like, what do you mean by Python? So we searched and searched, and we actually couldn't get anybody to mentor him. So we advised that he goes out to get, someone to pay to get that experience. So when he said Python, I'm like, what is Python? He tried explaining, but I actually didn't understand it. And I remember that when I left the banking industry, I was like, okay, Bola, right now, what's next for you? You know, outside this entrepreneurship thing you're doing, what's next? And I'm like, okay, the IT business won't be bad. And that's how I actually developed. So the question now came, so how do you break into this industry with zero skill, zero knowledge. So the opportunity came to relocate, and I had a choice to make, for the courses. And the guy came and said, "Oh, we'll do data science." I'm like, "What's data science?" So before I actually accepted to go into this course, I actually made some research about it to have an idea of what it was all about. And I was okay with, the things I found out. And again, one of the university requirements is that you don't necessarily need to have IT skill, just come the way you are. And, my curious mind, I came in to the UK, studied data science and business analytics, and I just finished. And I need to have the practical experience, because what I was taught is definitely not enough at all. So I'm here in Amatip to get that IT experience. Why did I decide IT? I just wanted a new field. I wanted something new, something different, something that will task my mind. So I decided to come into the IT industry, and so here I am, and I hope I get the experience that I need here. I hope I've answered all the questions.
Yes, you did. You
Any
explained.
question?
You mentioned that you want to get into the IT field. IT is a very, very broad field. Do you have anything in particular? Because it said you have.
Okay, yeah. So for that question, I actually looked at it, and I want to be able to fit into any field, really. Any industry. I actually don't want to restrict, myself, like Amos said. I don't want to restrict myself. I want to be able to fit into any field at all, actually.
Very good. Yeah.
So yes, I have a LinkedIn account, and I'm on Discord. I hope I've been able to introduce myself well enough.
Thank you very much, brother. It's very good. As we said, this is just first base. Once we start interacting more and more, we'll know everyone's skill set, and then it'll be nice to do some group projects. All right, next up, who wants to go? I believe Valley B is Valentine. Do you want to try it? Do you want to try introduce yourself, Valentine?
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening. Can you
Hello,
hear me?
Valentine. Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
good evening. Okay. I've signed in for the Discord. Let me start from there. Then LinkedIn, I've set up my profile. In the field I want to work on any field. But for now, I'm looking at the medical aspect. Why did I want to get into IT? Right from time I've been the IT person, the tech person, because right from when I was growing up, I used to have a website, a blog site. From there, I started, developing websites, writing some code. From there, I get into WordPress now, using WordPress and editing code in WordPress. So from there, I feel like IT is my thing. Like that's where my career is. That's where my passion is. So I look at, okay, where should I focus my energy on, or where should I focus my career on? So I looked at data analysis or data science, because I'm kind of a person that I love data. I love information. I like to back read or make research about things. So I think data analysis is the best one for me. And also for something I have passion for and zeal for, I think I'm going to excel in that area. So I don't know. Have I answered all the question?
Yes, you did.
Because I was actually looking for where I wrote it down, but I couldn't see.
That's fine. Thank you, Valentine. The idea behind this one was to keep it very generalized. The questions were supposed to be hints on what you want to talk about, but it's fine. Going forward, we'll do more of these, so it makes more sense.
All right. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, the idea was to introduce yourself very freely, so everyone gets to know you. At the same time, you'll get to know everyone else. It's not like a question and answer as an idea, but it's fine. You got your point across.
Okay. Okay. Though I'm not really the talking person, so
We will get you talking, Valentine, because data analysis is not just about doing the analysis of the data, it's also about communicating. So we will try and put everyone in a very stressful situation so you can talk more about your data and be more comfortable with it. So when you start applying for jobs, you don't stress up or you don't get feared. Or you don't get scared, not feared. You don't get scared. I
yeah,
hope
yeah.
that's fine with you.
Yeah, yeah. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
That's good then.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. Yep. Next go. Do you want to try this, Ayodeji? You're here, right? Yes. If Ayodeji is not online, we can go for Olafemi. Oh no, Ayodeji is online. Let's go.
Good evening. So my name is Deji. All right. I love data because data analysis because I love facts. Okay. So when people talk to me or you want to discuss something with me, no matter the aspect of the life, I love you to give me facts. Okay. So I know what makes us facts is data. And when you're talking to me, I love you to be truthful also. So I know when the data is right, then data will not lie. So I've always loved data. And then for the IT, because while I was growing up, I love computer, try to do a lot of things. And then I love mathematics. Okay, so luckily for me, I did sociology and criminology in my first and second degree in Nigeria. So I have to analyze, as a social scientist. So I use SPSS and Excel. Okay, so I actually find interest in Excel so much. I try to do a lot of things on my own. Nobody taught me, and I do a lot of things on Excel on my own. So when I heard about data analysis, I have the curiosity that, okay, so that means that Excel can do a lot of things. Okay, I actually know about how to get standard deviation and standardization. I saw them on Excel, but the truth of the matter is I don't know how to use it or to interpret it. So I just saw I will just run it normal and say, okay, I got this answer. That's all. Okay, so then I came to University of Plymouth to study international business. Okay, so I was like, good. If you love that analysis and you're in international business, can you become a business analyst? Okay. So I would like VJ to tell me, is it possible then in that analysis, is it possible for me to now say, okay, the world of business? Because actually I have background in and experience in marketing. Okay, work with Unilever, Nestle, even my branding company in Nigeria. So I love advertisement in the business world generally. But yet I want to have that IT integrated in my business. Okay, so that's why I love that analysis, the mathematics and the business combining together, maybe, and then grow in the career. Then I love the fact because what actually made me to join Amati was when I joined the first training we did for us before we signed up. I think that's the webinar, right? Or the seminar. And then I saw that I can grow in this career. So that means that in the next 10, 15, 20 years, I can grow. I can always love to seek more knowledge. Okay, so I was like, okay, instead of me going to probably PhD, because I love to read to keep my mind busy. So I say, okay, that means that I can always grow in this field. I can read more, I can research more, I can always I'm inquisitive, so I want to know more about things. So that's why I love Amatip. And I love to know more. And I love Amatip to impact in me, so I become a guru, a genius. That's what it means I go in data analysis. So thank you.
Thank you very much for the detailed introduction, Ayodeji. And yeah, to answer your question about business analyst, can you become with data analysis training? It's a very difficult one to answer because business analyst is like a specific domain within data analysis, and you need to know different tricks to it. So what we learn in this data analysis course will be a very strong foundation for you to learn and pick up data business analysts within a short period of time. When I say short period, all you need to do is some portfolios in them, and then be able to communicate them to a high level members in the company, like the CEO, CFO level company members. And once you get the communication right and the analysis of data right, there's no reason not to become a business analyst. Does that answer your
That's
question?
great. I'm glad.
That's good, yeah. Right.
Right.
And you also brought a really good point about needing help with interpreting stuff from Excel. I have a very good slide, not a very good slide. I have a question in the next slide, which will be very useful for you, for everyone over here. All right. Last but not least, Olufemi, I didn't forget about you. So would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Hi, everyone. My name is Olufemi, and to my background, actually coming from banking as well, but back in Nigeria, had about 14 years of experience in banking, different aspects of banking. And then I remember I used to work on, reports, data, credit reports, where we'll have to provide various type of reports for the management to make decisions on different analysis. Sometimes we get reports to present a certain information, and then we need to look at, the data sets and then try to bring up that answer to that question. So for me, I would say data analyst has been something I've been doing even back then, which, well, the name for it wasn't data analyst, then it's credit analyst. So, but of course, it's still analyst. And then, so, my use of Excel is always been, very, very good from then. And then coming to UK, when I, decided to, switch to IT proper, I look at it and I feel like based on my past experience, that would be the role that I'll be comfortable in. So I decided to, start reading about data analyst and, some self-taught. And I had, to go through Google Analytics. I don't know, I can't remember. So which I did, and with that experience, I also get to know more about SQL, a little bit about Tableau, and so with that, I've been really practicing, and I know that it's something I can do because I've always liked to analyze figures. So I like to play with figures. So it's not something that scared me. So I always try to look at things from different angles to give different perspective. So yeah, so that's it about my experience. And then talk of what other question? I've been on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn and also already on Discord as well. So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Just making some notes. How about you, FA? Are you still at work and can't talk, or would you like to give a quick introduction about yourself? I don't want to force you if you're still at work. That's completely fine. All right. Still at work. Okay, that's fine. No problem. All right. So listening to everyone's introduction, everyone has a very high or extensive experience in the form of in technology or data analysis or just normal analytics program. And I like the fact that everyone has very keen interest in problem solving and looking at things from a different perspective. And at the same time, presenting figures in an interactive, easy way to communicate. These are all very good skills to have and very important. And I like the fact that everyone's trying to sell themselves to me as a very data analysis enthusiast, which is a good thing. But I just want to know more about you in person, not about you trying to sell yourself to me. But if you genuinely love data science that much, that's really good to hear. All right, let's carry on. So a quick question. Who wants to take a shot at this? The 5 stages of data analysis lifecycle that we mentioned last week. So what's the first one? Does anyone want to type it down? What's the first stage?
The first stage is define.
That's correct. Yep, define. Oh, I got this the wrong way around. Yes, it's define, and then it's collect. What's the third stage?
We have cleaning.
Cleaning.
Clean.
The fourth stage, guys.
Analyze.
Very good. Analyze. And then the final stage is
We
Visualize.
visualize. Yep. So over here, everyone has a very high interest in analyzing data and visualizing data. I didn't see anyone caring about the defining. Look, sorry, some people mentioned about problem solving and trying to look at things in a different perspective and solve them. That's good. But no one mentioned about cleaning and collecting. And you guys are absolutely right. That's the most boring job in data analysis lifecycle. Cleaning and collecting data is not fun, but trying to look at different problems to solve, analyzing and visualizing is really fun jobs. So that's good to know that it's the same in our little cohort as well. Right, that's good. Fancy animations. One sec. So we spoke about different data analysis fields. People mentioned about banking, finance, retail, sales, business analyst, healthcare, etc. All of these are data analysis fields, and someone mentioned this very clearly that data analysis can be used everywhere. It is present in every single field, and it's all about knowing how to implement it and how to use it. So everything that you learn in this data analysis training internship, you'll be able to use it anywhere and anywhere you want, even in personal life, even in a job, even trying to increase your wealth. You can do it there. Anyway, I'm not trying to sell data analysis anymore. I know you all know what it is and how important it is. All right, with that, the homework is complete. So I have a question for everyone over here. What makes a good data analyst? Is it someone that knows all the statistical measures? Is it someone that knows how to present graphs? Is that it? What makes a good data analyst? Does anyone want to try and answer this question? There are no wrong answers here.
I think someone that's it's able to solve problem, answer questions, able to look at what is available and what's actually required. So be able to use what is available to answer what is actually needed.
That's very good. That's very good as well, Emmanuel. Give very good visualizations. Yes. Do you want to try something too, Valentine or Amos? Go on. I see you guys unmuted yourself. That's why.
Yeah, I would say what make a good data analyst? A good data analyst should be able to follow all the steps, the 5 steps in the life cycle. So you should be able to define, to clean, to visualize, to analyze, and to collect data.
Yes, that's good.
So I would say that is what makes a good data analyst.
Yep. Any other answers?
I've said it all. What makes a good data analysis? I would say having the patience and the capability to go back and look at what happens or what needs to be happened after collecting data. You just go back and make research on what needs to be adjusted. Then after that, you clean. It just fall within the circle, the data circle. Just able to carry on the stages, and that just it for me.
Okay.
For me, I think what makes a good data analysis, yes, we have all said it all, it's all correct. But above all, I think the quality of your data is very important.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're just gonna get wrong results and you mislead the organization and all that. So the quality of your data is very important.
Okay, you guys all have very, very good answers. But still, that's not a good data analyst. It's all about problem solving, or giving answers to a question that comes up and using data to do it. what, in my opinion, I might be wrong, but in my opinion, what makes a good data analyst is that they ask questions about every single thing. So whenever you define a problem, they ask questions about like, why do you need me to solve that? Why is it useful? Rather than saying, oh, this is a problem, can you solve it? They don't go ahead and solve it. They have to figure out why it needs to be solved, how to go about solving it, and then they start questioning it. That's what I think a data analyst is. I know Valentine tried to hint at this when he started saying that they start going back and researching and questioning about it. That's what I think makes a good data analyst. Because if I go ahead and teach some students, not students, some trainees or some interns about doing standard deviations or mean and doing some box plots, yeah, they know what to do, but they don't question, why should we do this? Does that make sense, guys? You have to always question why you're doing it. If you don't question it, you're just following the sheep and you're like, yeah, I'm doing it because for the sake of doing it. A good data analyst always takes a step back, has the patience to question everything they're doing, and then always find out whether they're doing is actually useful or not. Is it going to the same end goal of benefiting the company? That's what I think makes a good data analyst. Does it make sense? Everything you mentioned is something that a data analyst has to know, but just knowing those and doing those is not good enough, in my opinion. You have to be able to understand why you're doing it. Because I know someone in so Olufemi, not Olufemi, who said this? Ayodeji said that he knows how to use Excel, he knows how to use all the functions in it, but he needs help with interpreting it. Exactly, that's it. They need to know everything, how, why, when, etc., and what. They have to keep on asking the questions. That's what makes a good data analyst. You know, I was looking at the recording of Ola's lecture from Saturday, and I know he was going all about data cleaning and data wrangling and data cleaning. And he explained about normalize and standardize data. Can anyone give me can anyone tell me what a normalizing a data means or standardizing a data means? Again, I'm not trying to nitpick here. Anyone that wants to answer it, feel free to do that.
I think normalized data is when you have it as a percentage and it could be, presented to people, organization. But standardized for me means you'll be able to use it for coding. I think for machine, so that the machine can analyze. I think that's the difference between the two.
Close, but that's not correct. Anyone else want to try?
I think I can remember what Ola said about normalize. Is putting the data in zero within the range between 0 and 1.
Yes.
For normalize, but for the standardize, I really can't remember how we put it.
Okay. All right. That's fine. No problem. Is again, this is the first week, so I'm not expecting you to know everything and every single thing. So normalizing is, as you put it, is to put a range of values into a manageable range. So let's say people that are earning salaries from 20,000 to 100,000 or something. Rather than having it on a scale of from 20 to 100,000, you put it as a ratio from 0 to 1 or -1 to 1. You can do anything. That's normalizing. And standardizing is about fitting the data to a normal distribution. Does anyone know what a normal distribution means? A normal distribution is like this bell curve. I'm sure many of you have seen this. You'll be like, the median range will always be in the middle, and then there will be an equal split before and after this little median range or middle value. And then, yeah, there we go. And then you have different standard deviations. So one standard deviation has about 60% of the data, two standard deviations about 95% of the field and everything. That's what standardizing is. It's to fit any given data to a bell curve, a normal distribution. That's what it is. And I know someone else mentioned that we have to use this for machine learning. Yeah, you can use both. You can use normalizing and standardizing for machine learning. You use standardize generally to compare two datasets to find out how close they are, how far away they are. And you use normalizing to do principal component analysis. I know it's a very big buzzword, but it's basically looking at different fields of data and then trying to get rid of some fields that are useless. I can give you a quick example. Is to say, a quick example is something like how much salary you have and how much money you save. If you earn a high salary, that means you can save a lot of money. There will be a nice correlation between those two. And if you normalize those data, you will see that both, and if you put in a graph like the 0 to 1 over here and over here, you will have crosses going up in this manner. Not exactly, but you will see a very close relationship. So if this is the money you're getting, and then it's the money you're saving, you will see a close relationship. That means you don't need to look at both of them. You just need to look at one data set, making your machine learning and everything else easier. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't go into very high detail purposefully because I want you guys to go ahead and research about this. The difference between normalizing and standardizing. This is what I meant about being a good data analyst. You have to question every single thing. Anything I say or anything all I say is you have to be like, why do I need to know this? Where do we use it? And where exactly can we not use it? Because an example is standardizing always works with normal distribution. But if you have a data, something that's asymmetric, when I say asymmetric, do you know what that means, guys? So that means it's like this can be in terms of salary. If you look at the UK salary, you will see the average is around something like 35K or something. But then if you look over here, some people that earn about 1 million. That's a very askew. So it's an asymmetric data. There are a lot of people that earn low money, but there are very few people that earn a lot of money. If you try and standardize this data, what you're assuming is the data doesn't look asymmetric, but it looks normal. And it gives you wrong answers. That's why you should be careful with what you're doing and why you're doing. Yeah. Does it make sense, or do you want me to actually, it's not do you want me to. There is a small exercise we'll be doing down the line, which will explain about standardizing and why we have to be careful with it. Okay? If anyone doesn't still get it, let me know. If not, we'll go to the next slides.
Yeah, I don't really get that. Can you please represent it?
Can I please represent it? Yes. Standardizing and normalizing. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. So normalizing is when makes sense, putting the values from 0 to 1 as a ratio. Standardizing, by the way, the word isn't the standard, it's like it's based on standard deviations. So you always assume a normal distribution for any data you're trying to standardize. That's what it is. And then the value that you get, the z value, is basically saying how many standard deviations away are you from the mean of the data. This is the mean. And then the z value is saying how many standard deviations away you are. That's the formal definition of what a standard deviation is. And when do you use it? It's just to compare data sets that have the same normal distributions. So let's say you're looking at the student heights in America versus student heights in Nigeria. How can we say the height of the students in Nigeria is higher than the height of the students in America? You only do that by doing a comparison in the sense you look at the average of the data and look at the standard deviations and try and compare those two distributions to see where the Nigerian height is or where the American height is and where they stand. If the Nigerian height stands over it and slightly on the right, how confident are you that they're always taller? These are the kind of questions that if you want to answer, you have to standardize the data. Again, if it still doesn't make sense, when I go with the statistical techniques, I'll be explaining what a standard deviation is, what a normal distribution is, and then I'll explain how to standardize there again and explain this in more detail. I only use an example because I want you to make sure that whenever you learn something new, you always have to question. And I'll be teaching you something new in this lecture. I want to see if you guys question me about it or not. Is that fine? Or do you want me to still try and explain this in a different manner?
Yes.
It's
Yes,
fine.
yes. Please go ahead. Yeah, I have an idea.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks, IDG. Same with everyone else. I know it's a difficult topic to explain because all I tried really well to explain what a normalizer is and what a standardizer is, giving examples and explanations and formula, but it doesn't explain where you should use it and where you should not use it. But that will be covered in due time. All right, I'll go to the next slide. So what is the importance of data analysis? All right, everyone covered this during the introduction stage. It's all of these. It's all about helping with informed decision making, where you analyze the historical data, real-time data, and you look at the market trends or the trends of the data and help companies or businesses make strategic and well-informed decisions. Or us to understanding customers. For example, if you're in a business where you deal with customers, you want to know what kind of questions do they come up to you with, or what kind of purchasing, or what kind of things do they buy. So I gave an example during my seminar with a pet shop, where if a lot of customers buy pedigree goods, a special brand of pedigree goods, you try and stock more of those. So there's always a constant supply of those goods. If you don't do those analysis, then you never have the constant supply. And it will lead to customer dissatisfaction and they stop buying, which you don't want to do. And then you also have something else that I like, risk management. So businesses and entrepreneurs, whenever they take decisions, they have to be very careful of the risk they take. And the only way you can manage the risk is by knowing your cost and profit relationship. If you're taking a small risk and it's very expensive, but you know it has a high chance of success, then you will take it. But if you're taking a normal risk, but it's very high expensive and a very small chance of success, you would never take it, because that's basically doing a risk analysis, saying whether you want to do it or not. Do you gain more or do you lose more? Those kind of things. But again, all of these are different examples, optimizing operations. So for example, whenever I keep on training you guys, every single lecture I go through, I look at the recording again tomorrow and I find out where I went wrong, what you guys liked, what you guys don't like, and try and optimize towards it. So I'll give you guys very meaningful data analysis in training. And then again, this is the one thing I like, performance measurement, to see how well they're doing. Or in the business, they call it KPIs. KPIs is key performance indicators. This is something that's common in a lot of business domains. So you have to get a rough idea of what it is. I'll come back to you quickly, Amos. One quick thing. And then KPI can be different from company to company or business to business. For example, in our Tips data analysis course, my KPI is to know how well you guys understand data analysis. And the way I measure it is by seeing how well you do your homeworks or your portfolios. And the other thing I can do is look at your portfolios at the end of the entire course and see how well you're doing it. That's one indicator for me. The other indicator is to see how many people turn up to your lectures. Right now we have 7 people out of 8. You're missing one person, so what's going on? Did I do something wrong? Those are the kind of things I'll be looking at. Yes, Amos, go ahead. What's the question?
Okay, I would just like you to give an example of how you make predictions as a data analyst. Can you just give an example?
Ah, very good point. How about make predictions as a data analyst?
Yes.
Yes, so you want me to tell you whether how likely or how unlikely it is, those kind of questions?
Yes, I know you can do this if you are a data scientist, but as a data analyst, I from what I've learned so far, when you are supposed to model the data, then you visualize, then you present it to management to make their decisions. So how do you make predictions as a data analyst? Because I'm saying this in this slide. So as a data analyst, how do you make predictions? Can you just give an example?
Yeah, I can give an example. There was a homework section that I have, which is basically looking at what kind of goods they can use what kind of food they can give to chickens to get fat chickens. That's a prediction that you can make. And then I don't want to give you the homework. Let me rephrase it in a different way. Thank you for asking me this question. Predictions is not something that only data scientists can do. Data scientists, they do it in a different way. They create machine learning models and they go deep into it. But data analysts would also know how to do predictions. And the predictions I can give you is, let's say you're looking at some data for heights in a class, in a year 7 and year 8 students. You look at the height and you get a nice little standard deviation curve, something like this. That's a distribution of the heights. You can look at the average of the height and you look at the first standard deviation between those two, and it can be like this is 1.2 meters and this is 1.4 meters. And then your prediction can be most students that come to year 7, year 8 have a 66% chance of being between these two heights. That's because they're within one standard deviation of the mean. That's a prediction that you can do as a data analyst. Does that answer your question, Amos?
Yes, it does. What I would really appreciate if you can use a data set to depict this, but that's maybe later in the future classes we'll be having.
No, I can do it within right at the end. I'll just make a note of this. Use a data set to share to make predictions. Yep. But yeah, I have an entire lecture planned on predictions and how to go about doing this, because there is descriptive analysis and oh God, I keep forgetting the words. There are different forms of analysis they can do.
Yeah, predictive. We have predictive analysis.
Yes, 1 second. Let me get let me get my notes out. I made a note on this one as well. That's really good questions that you asked me, because it caught me off guard. 1 second, I'm going to stop sharing the screen and I'll restart it so you guys can see this properly. New slide. Then go from that. There you go. Can you see this now? This is the analytics maturity model. So you have the description analysis explaining what the data is and etc. And you have diagnostic, finding out what's going wrong. And you have predictive analysis, like saying what could happen on what will happen. So this is something that you will be learning in this course. And then, yeah, I was going to share the slide or share this graph down the line. But what's going on is a lot of people can do descriptive and diagnostic analysis using ChatGPT. But to be a good data analysis, you should try and do all the predictive and prescriptive analysis. And this will be taught and covered during our lectures. Okay, does that give you some kind of confidence in what's going on, Amos? I
Yes,
will
it does.
example in predictive analysis literally in half an hour's time.
Yes, it does.
Perfect. Good. Now, the role of data analysis or data analyst, it is very simple. It is to follow the data analysis lifecycle, while questioning every single stage of why they're doing it, how they're doing it, and why, how, and solve the problem. And then what they need to do is they need to apply everything they learned to get the points that I've shown in the previous slide, not the 5 stages, but the one before that, the importance of data analyst. One thing you have to remember is data analysts are the heart and brain of businesses. They move the company forward safely and in the right direction based on the raw data they collect. Because if you have no data to collect or no data to use to analysis, you will go in intuition. And intuition is generally wrong, because if there's no data to back it up, you can do something wrong and it can go wrong. All right, that's the introduction to data analysis completed. Do you have any questions before we move forward to the next section? By the way, if you have any questions, and you don't get them right now, you can always pop them on the Discord channel, and I'm more than happy to answer there. Okay? All right, I'm gonna carry on. I was gonna go through a live example here, and let's leave it to a vote. Should I do a live example of data analysis, or should I just go into fundamentals of data? You guys can pick what you want me to do. The stage is yours, guys. I will give you 10 seconds to pick, and then we can go from there. So should I do a live demonstration, or should I just go into fundamentals of data?
Fundamental.
Fundamentals of data. Okay, Olafemi, that's nice. Anyone else? It's a democratic world, so
Fundamentals.
okay, we'll go into fundamentals. Fundamentals, nice. So in terms of fundamentals of data, you need to know what are the types of data that we have. There are two types of data: structured data and unstructured data. So your structured data covers everything. It covers your numerical field, text, Boolean, categorical field, and etc. The definition of a structured data means it's a highly organized information that can be seamlessly included in a database and can be searched for easily. The other names for these things are, for numerical, it can be interval data or ratio scale. Interval data is something that you must have been exposed to quite a lot. So let's go back to the height example. Rather than saying what's your height and you saying, well, I'm 1.65 meters, you can be like, I'm between 1.6 to 1.7 meters high, or 1.5 to 1.6 meters high, or 1.4 to 1.5 meters high. That's an interval data. You're just tabulating them. And then ratio scale is another way of saying direct data, and it can always go back to 0. So in terms of height, it can be 0 meters high, or it can be 1.5 meters high, 1.6 meters high. That's what it is. And then the next slide is Boolean. It's a binary data saying yes or no, 1 or 0. It's any categorical data with two values, basically. And then in categorical, they can be divided into nominal and ordinal. Nominal is something saying like, oh, what kind of a house do you live in? Do you live in a flat? Do you live in a bungalow? Do you live in a detached house, semi-terraced house, terraced housing, etc.? It's just different fields that has no direct trend or no connection between them. That's what a nominal data means. Ordinal means it's like a connected thing. So how satisfied are you with this course that I'm doing right now? 0 being very unsatisfied, 5 being very satisfied. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all categorical data because you can select 0 to 5, but then they're all in the same scale, saying from unsatisfied to satisfied. That's what it is. Again, these are all buzzwords that you should be able to remember, and you have to know which ones to pick doing what, and etc. Has anyone heard of the word called ordinal survey? I'm sure everyone knows what a survey is, but have you heard of the word ordinal survey? Well, if you guys haven't heard of it, it's basically what a lot of companies do. Whenever you have a customer experience with them, or whenever you call the customer service, they will send you a survey saying, oh, on a scale of 0 to 10, can you please tell me how well we have done it, or how efficient we are at solving this issue? That's an ordinal survey. Again, it would be nice for you guys to know what all these key terms are, as it will be really useful in interviews. All right, the other part of the data is unstructured data. Unstructured data is basically the opposite of structured data. They're not structured and they're not labeled. So examples can be like a quote or a review or something like this. Again, shameless plug. It says a fake review by a fake trainee. Like, this data analysis trainer is very good at what he does. I'll give him a 10 out of 10 and will recommend him to my friends. He always reminds me to think like a better analyst by thinking critically and always ask questions. He's good for not having an analyst background. See, this is a review. That's the data that you can collect, but it's unstructured data. And to make this into a usable data, you try and take things out. Like, you can say, you will recommend him 10 out of 10. You will say you will recommend him. And what he makes you think, like thinking critically or asking more questions, or he's very good for not having a background. All of these things are the data that you can take out and convert them into labeled data. Those are the two types of data you will get, structured or unstructured. Keep in mind, whenever you have data, if you put garbage data in, that means you'll get garbage data out. Yep, and then that's the homework side. I went over the fundamentals of data very quickly because there is not much to know about the data. It's just knowing different types of data and all the names. And then the next one is to convert unstructured data into usable data. And generally what you do is you run a machine learning program on the reviews to try and pick things out. Or you can hire someone to try and pick out the key terms and put them into a questionnaire dataset for you. That's what it is. All right, and then next week I will be covering about how you collect the data and what you need to be careful about when collecting the data. Do we have any questions about this very brief but clear explanations of types of data that we have? And if you guys know more types of data, please let me know because I want to see what I might have missed. Yeah?
Sorry, I have a question
Yes.
on unstructured data.
On unstructured data.
Yes, unstructured data. Is it a kind of data? Is it a raw data? I don't know how to put it for you. Is it a raw data that we will need to put it in, make it structured in the sense that we need to make it to be on a database or on a data set to be able to interpret or to work on the data,
So
kind of.
yes, unstructured data is something that has no labels on them. So let me just share this screen. This will be very helpful if I can get this. Oops.
Or rather, unstructured data must it be written on works, kind of.
Yeah, it's written in words. It's just a phrase. So if you look at this Kaggle website, you can see each data over here has a column heading saying show ID, type, title, director, and the cast. These are all have section headings. So that's structured data. But if you have something like a review, which is just basically a quote or a sentence, that's unstructured data because you have to try and run something on it to get information out of it. So if I go to Spotify songs, and if you look at the data card over here, and if I make this a big screen, so you have this, you have the unique values saying what it is, what song it is, and the link to the song address. And then over here is just the entire lyrics of the song. Lyrics of a song is unstructured because it has everything inside it, but it's not useful because you have to run some kind of analysis on it.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
understood now. Yeah.
Yeah. Unstructured is something that has no heading saying, oh, you have to do some more analysis on it to try and extract good data. That's what
All right.
unstructured is.
All right. Yeah.
Right. So as I mentioned this last week, guys, so I'll show you how to go into Kaggle. So if you type kaggle.com, you come up this website, you come up to this homepage, you click on datasets, and then you have a lot of data here. You have the mental health care in the last 4 weeks. You have the NFL, National Football League from America's data, or if you want, you can go into music's, like Spotify songs have done. Gold stock prices if you want to do some time series data analysis. And data science jobs interview. Oh, that's interesting. I actually never seen this one. Oh, there you go. You have the company name. You have the job title, the rating of the company, and how much the location and the salary average. See, you have all this data from Kaggle, which is really useful whenever you're doing data analysis or doing your portfolio projects. The more you collect this and the more you work with this, the easier it will be for you. And you can easily sell yourself with experience. Do you guys know how to look into Kaggle? Because for your portfolio project, I think this is the first point of contact for you, where you will be gathering data from it. Most of the data over here will be unrefined, and you need to clean them. Yeah. Does it make sense, guys?
Yes.
Yep. So this is Kaggle, and yeah, I didn't realize how quickly I would go through it, fundamentals of data, because yeah. Oh, someone asked me a question. Yes, nice. All right, so I will go over some examples. So if I go over this one, you guys remember the initial trial or initial data we did, where it's to go through this entire thing, clean the data, and then try and, what's the word? Try and answer these questions that I mentioned over here. What is our famous career path? What did we do good, and how can we improve? I'm going to leave this data here so you can all try and play around with it and learn it. Oh no, this is the reference problem. So let's do a quick example of a data analysis on this one. You have 3 different insurance providers, Geico, Progressive, and USAA. And the question is, which insurance provider would you choose and why? So it's the same thing when you go on Amazon and you try and look at different items. How would you choose which product you will buy and why? What was the first thing you do, guys? Anyone?
You read reviews
Go to the reviews.
and the rating.
That's correct. You read the reviews and you look at the ratings. What do you need to know about the ratings? You look at the average of the ratings, seeing which rating has the high values. So that's for Geico. There you go. That's the Geico one. And then just to make things easier, I'll try and put labels on them. So that's the Geico average. Next one, let's do the progressive average. Progressive average. The same thing you do, round average. These 4, and you go to 2 decimal places, you get this, and then USAA. So based on these averages, which one is good to choose? If you're progressive is a good choose. Why? Because it has a high rating.
High rating.
Does everyone agree with this? I want to see yeses and nos.
Yes.
Yes.
So if you guys go, you would go ahead and buy progressive because it has a high rating. But let's look at the data individually. All right, we know USAA is not that good because the average is lower than everything else. So we can ignore that. If we look at the progressive ones, let's write this down from short to small: 6.7, 7.4, 8.9, and 8.9. That's what you have. Let's put this over here. And then with Geico, you can have 4.7, 8.7, and 9.2. So this is an example of making a prediction. Over here, yes, Geico has 2 ratings at 8.9 and 2 ratings at 6.7 and 7.4. With Geico, there's 1 person at 4.7 and there are 2 of them at 8.7 and 9.2. If I'm feeling a bit risky and I want to get the highest bang from a buck, or really good data out, or really good performance out, I might take a risk with Geico because from the data that I have, only 1 in 3 person failed and the other 2 has a really high experience. And in with progressive, they all have mediocre to slightly high performance. Does that sentence make sense, guys? This is a different way of looking at the same data. Rather than just doing the average of it and looking at the data, you can actually see the trends of the data and see, well, there's 1 person that had a bad experience, but then 2 of them had a good experience. Over here, there are 2 people that have a mediocre experience and 2 people have a very good experience. So if you're looking at this one, what's the percentage of good experience and versus bad experience? 2 out of 3 versus 1 out of 3. You guys agree with the statement? And over here, it's 2 out of 4, which is basically 1 out of 2 and 1 out of 2. if I was feeling a bit risky and I want to try and get a higher, try and maximize my money or my insurance provider, I can try and go to Geico. All right, can anyone say what's wrong with my explanation? I want you guys to take a trial at this. No one? Did you guys understand what I'm explaining here?
Okay, I understand what you are saying, but in a case where you have a large data set, maybe you have 100,000 data points, how are you going to achieve this? The second way of looking at it, is it possible to perform this analysis?
Yeah, there is a very easy way to do the same analysis, which is you look at the I might have shot myself in the leg here because I need to look at the quartiles. Has anyone heard of the word quartiles, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, you have
What
the
range?
25%, 50%, and 75%.
5%.
Yeah. Again, this doesn't work with my data set over here because it's a very tiny data set. But what you do is, let's say you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can't do this quickly. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So what I can do is look at the first data, which is the minimum data, maximum data, and then I can look at the 25% quartile, which will be 4.5 or something. And then the 50% will be 8, and this will be 12.5. That's how you look at this, and then that's how you look at the spread. You'd be like, 25% of the people got at least over 12.5, or 25% of the people got below 4.5, example, etc. That's how you can visualize this with hundred thousands of data. Does that answer your question, Amos?
Yes, it does.
All right, you know what? As I mentioned, I will give you a rough overview on how to do predictions. Let's go with this one. I'll just combine linseed and soybean. All right, you have this random continuous data for that's not how I want to do this. So you have this random continuous data over here. And then let's try and sort it from A to Z. You can look at this data and then how do we make a predict? Let's not even that. Let's just do standard. Okay, let's try and standardize this. Invalid code to a non-function. That's because of these two steps, all right? That's not working there. But what I'm doing here is a very quick standardizing function for all of this. That's how a standardized looks like. So going from minus 1.7 to 1.7 over here, and you can see the normal distribution style because you have the 0 values over here and then an equal amount on the top and equal amount at the bottom. So this is a normal distribution. And then if I were to insert a chart, Not a column chart, a line group. Nope, that's not the right way to do it. Sorry, I just realized that I'm just talking on my own and doing this on my own without giving you an explanation. So let's delete that. Let's start from the beginning. So Emma's asked me a question. How do I go about predicting something? All right. Is that correct, Amos? Did I lose everyone, or is everyone still here? Hello?
Yeah, we're here. I'm here.
All of him is here. Nice. Yep.
Yeah.
How about everyone else? Because everyone just went very quiet all of a sudden.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because yeah, I realized I shot myself in the leg when I started trying to go through this and everything. So the idea behind this is you have this entire data set and you're trying to make some predictions. How do we go about making prediction? Ah, there we go. Someone said my internet froze. Thank you. So how do we go about making predictions on this data set? Yes. Sorry about that. Must have gone something must have gone wrong with my internet. So how do you make predictions with this data? That's the big question. The way you can do that is by looking at the mean of the data. So if you take the mean of the data, what does it say? Okay, it says 233.84 is the mean. And then the other thing we can do is take a standard deviation of the data. Let's do the sample, this data, and you do this. And that's a standard deviation. So one prediction that I can make is any new field of data that can be added to this one would fall within this range of equals this minus standard deviation, this plus standard deviation. And I have a 60%, 66% confidence rate that it will fall into this range. And you might be asking me, why do I have that confidence range? So if I go to normal distribution levels, standard deviation percentages. And if I open this one, there you go. This is why I know this. So if you look at this, it's one standard deviation away from the mean has a 68.27% chance of it falling there. Two standard deviations have a 95% chance, and three standard deviations 99% chance of falling it there. That's one way of me doing percentages. That's one way of doing predictions. Does that answer your question, Amos, now? Because I want to try and give you a heads up on the homework that you're supposed to be doing as well. Yeah. All right. All right. I'll take it that Amos understood this. Anyway, going back to this one, I have this homework for you guys. I will be sending you this link, which has a 80 data set over there. But what I want you to do is, first things first, apply the entire data analysis lifecycle on this, which is to go through the IDs, see if there are any repeated data, and get rid of that. And then you start answering these questions. And the question here is simple. You're inside a farm with a lot of chickens, and you want to give them the best feed possible so they can all become very fat. That's the literal question. So that's the first question to do. Which feed should you give them? And I want to see some analysis behind it. And the second one is, what weight can I expect from them? I gave you a little chance over here, which is an average weight, minimum weight, maximum weight. And if you want, you guys can get a bit special and also add this percentage, saying you have a 68% chance of it being within this certain weight, or 95% chance it will be within a certain weight, and etc. you should try and answer that question as well. And then the last one is, which chicken food are you confident in and why? And this is a bit of an open-ended question because I didn't actually explain how can you define your confidence levels in which one is good and which one's not good. So I want you to try and research about this. Yep. So that's their homework. So the first homework is trying to look into normalizing data and standardizing data, try and figure out where and why you should use it, and also find out where and why you should not use it. And the second section is complete data analysis task 1. And I will send everyone the Google Docs link so you can actually access it and look at it. Okay?
Okay, I have a comment, Vijay.
Definitely, go ahead.
We are all here to learn, and we all have more skills. One person has more skill, than the other.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why I said I'm coming in with a zero knowledge, because I really don't, know how to go about this. So if you're giving me this homework, and I really don't know how to go about using Google Analytics sheet, how am I? Yes, I can use the previous lecture to try my hands on it. But if I don't really know what to do, what to press, how to go about it, then how am I going to solve my homework? I don't know if you get what I mean.
No, I completely understand what you mean. That's why I was giving you all these hints over here, saying the average weight, the minimum weight, and what it's going to be, and what kind of food that you want to try and buy. And then everything that's been done has been explained here. All you need to do is use the same functions that's been used over here, which is taking an average of this data and looking at it, looking at the average of this data and looking at it, and you find out which one's good. Right? As I said, there are no wrong answers for the first week. I just want you to try and attempt this, and then I want to know your experience, saying what you found difficult or what you didn't understand there. Because the way I go about it is you can only learn or improve on things when you know what you don't know. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question, Bola?
Well, not quite. Well,
Not quite?
no, not quite really, because I would expect a situation where we would actually go through that process together, which maybe I'm not sure if I really understand what you have done. We'll actually go through that process together. Then you can now give me homework or something more extended where I have to do more research. But bottom line is that I would have been able to have, or I would have at the end of the day, the basic knowledge of what to do, what to press, where to go to, and all that. Then based on that, I can now do further research. I don't know if I'm communicating. Well, from what you have given, I can attempt it, but maybe I have a mindset of how I feel this lecture, should be delivered so that those of us who are not at that level at all can catch up with the rest of the class. I don't know if I've communicated.
Yeah, I completely understand what you mean. Because you and FA, your two members that came into this with zero experience with data science or data analysis, and you're questioning how can I expect you guys to solve this without giving you the right tools. Is that in layman terms? Is that correct?
Exactly.
Does everyone else feel the same way?
Correct.
So I'm just gonna try and understand this. Amos, Ayodeji, Olufemi, and Valley B, do you guys also feel the same way? If I'm asking you too much without giving you the right tools?
I feel yeah, for me, I understand what you're saying, and I can also understand what she is saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think what might actually be confusing for her, I mean, the concept is clear, with what you need with data analysis, we understand. But maybe I feel what might actually be confusing for her would definitely be the use of the formulas, which you just demonstrated, and it seems like magic to someone that doesn't really, yeah, I can understand that can actually be yeah, so I think that is where you need to just probably explain a little.
Okay. There are two ways that I explain this. One is redo the same thing again, because what I'm looking at is the average. So I just type the average of it and select the value. I'm not asking you for more than this. You get a data and you can do this. Or the other thing you can do is just double click the data and you can start seeing the lines. So you can select where you want to select. Because I understand the fact that I didn't ask you anything about, I didn't give you any examples about standard deviations or z-scores and etc. I know I didn't explain that. That's why I didn't want you guys to try and attempt solving this using those functions. Those are just given to you as an extra hard question. But these two questions, I'm sure that I went through everything in the last week's and this week's problem. That's why I thought you guys can do this quite easily and directly. And the function that uses average to get the average, and I can use the function that's called min to get the minimum value of the selected data. And same thing, I can use the maximum function to get the maximum value of the selected data. And the one thing that I use the function called round, which is converting this ugly looking, sorry, if I were to write this down and then delete it one more time, it will make
Sorry, Vijay, if I may just say something, for the purpose of those that doesn't really know much about Excel, when you compound the formula like this, it will be difficult for them to understand. It may actually make more sense or make it easy or simple for them to get if you just use different column for each of these. Like for instance, when you are calculating the average, you do it separately in an Excel. I mean, in a column, and then do the second thing, which is the standard deviation, also separately, and then go to another column to do the combination of the two together, so that they can actually see step by step and the formula for each of those things, rather than putting all together in one column, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, but that's exactly what's going on, right? This first one is the average, the second one is the mean, the third one is the max.
Okay.
I might be a bit confused over here then. No, this is actually very good news for me because that just means that I'm not explaining this correctly. Thank you for highlighting this, Bola. But I want you to tell me if you're not following what I'm explaining here, because all I need you to do is look at the mean, minimum, and maximum of the data to try and make some reasonable conclusions on whether which chicken feed is good. The one thing that might be difficult is how do you find duplicates in this data? Yes? Bola, do you want to go with this one or answer this question? All right, how about this? Rather than having this homework, do you want me to solve this in this class so everyone can follow this? And I'll try and be very clear with all the functions that I've used and go about doing this. Do you think that's a good way to do it?
Oh, I think that's a good way to do it. Then thereafter, you can now maybe give another assignment for us to go and solve. That's what I think.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and do it that way then. From next week onwards, I will try and prepare 2 assignments. One where I do it on live, and the second one is to do the same assignment on your own. Is that what you guys prefer?
Well, for those of us who are just coming up in it, I think that's preferable. Then based on that, we can now do more research on our own to learn more, using other data. But at least there should be that basic knowledge of what you are talking about.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I misunderstood the knowledge everyone had about average and mean and min, max and everything. So yeah, this is how it goes. For people that want to solve this on their own, this might be difficult to say, can leave the call and not look at the video till you try and solve it. And you can compare your solution with mine. And for people that want to work on this together, can stay on the call. Does that sound all right? I'm looking at people that have experience. So Amos, Ayodeji, and Olufemi. Olufemi left. No, Olufemi stayed. Amos left. Given
There is no harm in learning.
there is no harm in learning, yeah. It's just because I think we both have different styles of learning. Because for me, I would try and see how to solve it on my own. And if I don't understand, that means I have to learn this and I have to go about doing it. But there is no harm,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, let's go. So the first thing over here is the questions are, what data do we have over here? We have so for the purpose of Ebola, what we can do is, and FA when she looks at the video again, we can go down to this entire thing and highlight the entire IDs. And then when you highlight everything, you can go to the bottom right. Can you see this, Bola?
Yes, I can.
Yep. And if you click on this, you can see count and min, max, and everything. You see count as 79. There are 79 values there. That's how many units there are. But the one thing you can look at this is the ID. It starts from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes all the way up to 71. Right? That's the first thing I look at. There are 71 values over here, and I can confirm this by using these two functions called, let me just do a new section over here. Looking at the data. So total data, number of rows equals, when you look at all this over here, how many do I have? Just going to check this again. So there are 79. And then I know the ID goes from 1 to a certain number of a maximum. So I can look at the minimum ID number, and I can use the function called, by the way, in Google Sheets or Excel, whenever you're writing a function, you start with writing equal to, and you write min for a minimum, and it explains it right there. Minimum value in a numerical data set. If you click on it, it says how you should give it the command value 1, value 2. You can write 1, 2, 3, or you can select the data over here. And what we're trying to do is looking at this entire thing, and we're trying to select this entire data and try and get the minimum value. Oh, by the way, you might say, how do I go about selecting this entire thing? I press and hold shift. Oops. Yeah, that didn't work as expected because I was in a wrong column. So yeah, you click on this. Let's do this again. Equal to minimum, open brackets. Click on this, scroll down, press shift, close brackets, and press enter. And you get the minimum value there. And you can do the same thing for the maximum ID number. And you say max and select the entire column. Oops. And then if you close the brackets there, you will get 71. So there are a total of 79 rows, and then a minimum maximum, there's 71 to 71. There are 71 rows. So what does that mean? There are 79 minus 71, 8 duplicate rows. Do you guys agree with that? I'm doing it for your benefit, guys. I need some kind of interaction here. Do you guys agree with there being 8 duplicate rows or not? All right. I'm just gonna, if I'm not getting any feedback, that would be very difficult for me. I'm just going to assume that you guys accept there are 8 duplicate rows. Thank you, Oyedeji. And then now what you can do is, once you confirm that there are 8 duplicate rows, you can go to data and I can do data cleanup and remove suggestions. So I'm just gonna write this down, how to remove duplicates. You go to first data and then click on data cleanup. Data cleanup. And then you go to remove duplicates. Oops. Remove duplicates. So let's do that. Data cleanup and remove duplicates. And then you select the columns. Right now, it's not selecting the columns I need. So you can select this entire column and then click on, oh yeah.
There's an electrician inside.
So before you do that, I need to write a step over here. Select the data, which is from here to here. And then you click on the data cleanup and remove duplicates. And then over here, you're trying to remove column A. Click on column A and click on remove duplicates. As we just clearly find out, there are 79 units, and out of 79, there are 8 duplicate rows. So if you press OK, it deletes it. And just to do this one, I'm going to duplicate this one and then be like VJ's homework solution. All right, there we go. Let's try this one more time. Data cleanup, remove duplicates. And then you click on column A. It doesn't really matter what you do. Once you click on remove duplicates, all the duplicates are removed and you have exactly 71 datasets right there. That's the first thing. Let me just do this one over here. This is define. This is select and clean. Oops. That's what you're doing over here. And the next thing you're doing over here will be analyze. And for your analysis, I gave you an example of what to look at: average weight, minimum weight, and what could it get up to. Before we do that, let's do something else that's called sorting the data. Let's do this one, which you do sorting the data, because you see there's horse feed, horse bean, linseed, and then soybean again, which is not good for us. Same thing again, you select all the data, you go to data, and then sort range, sort by column C. Do you guys all follow? Whenever you don't follow, just tell me and I will try and explain it as much as I can. There you go. And then I'm going to write down this one as well. Select the data. After you select the data, what do? You go to data, sort range, advanced sorting range. So data, sort range, advanced sorting. Select the column you want to sort by. Here, column C or feed. That's how you sort it. And now we're doing analyze. So let's go over our feeds. We have casein, we have horse bean, we have linseed, we have meat meal, and then we have soybean and sunflower. These are all the unique data that we have. And then if you go to my hint, what does it say? average weight, minimum weight, and what could it get up to? What could it get up to is like the maximum weight. So let's put those headings over here. Average, minimum, maximum. Maybe I should have one more column. These will be functions over here. Functions used. So that will be equals average equals min, and then equals max. So for this one, as I said, we use the average function and select everything within KSON. Oh, not that one. We select the weight because that's what we're looking at, the weight of the chickens. And you press enter. You will get the weight for KSON. Now you do the same thing. Average for horse bean, and you do the average for linseed. And then you do average for meat meal, and you do average for no, that's me being stupid. I used the wrong brackets. Soybean. And then you do average for sunflower. And then there you get all these values, and you do the same thing for minimum, maximum, and everything else. I'm going to slightly speed up over here because it's the same data that you need to select. So I'm just going to copy the data and write minimum of that equals maximum of that. But again, I know I'm speeding things over here, but you can do the same idea. So you can do equal to min, and you select the data range for horse bean. You take this minimum of horse bean equals maximum of horse bean, and you do that. So is it fine with me doing it this way, guys? Or do you want me to do it by hand for everything else again?
That's fine. Go ahead.
Yep. So I'm just going to speed this up. Yep. Max equals min of this equals max of that. Oops. Min of this equals max of that equals min of this equals max that. Now looking at this data, now this is where we start using analysis. It's not an analysis, it's just looking at the data and finding out the averages. Which one is the highest average over here? Over here, sunflower has the highest average. So if I were to go about this one, what type of chicken food is the best for a good poultry business? A good poultry business is the keyword. And that means I need fat/heavy chickens. And to get, well, I can't move this. To get fat and heavy chickens, need to use sunflower seeds for fat, heavy chickens. Why can't? So define goal and solution. Those are the 3 steps. Those are the 3 things I can use. You can use any terminology you want there. All right, let's go another step over here. In this one, it's the same thing. And if you use a sunflower seed, the minimum weight of that is still higher than everyone else's minimum weight. And if you look at the maximum weight of the chickens, it's still higher than the maximum weight of the entire range. So there you go. Evidence is due to high chicken weight in all mean, min, and max categories. And that's why we need to use, where is it? Sunflower seeds. Does that answer the first question? I did my analysis over here. I've shown everything, and I've picked which one is the best one to pick. This is all I expected for the homework. Nothing else. All right, let's go to the next one. What weight can I expect the chickens to be in? Again, we can look at the same thing over here. You can look at the weights of this thing. You can see, oh, the minimum weight I can expect is the chicken weight can be between 226 and 423. What units did I didn't write units, that's smart of me. But let's say they're grams. No, let's say they're grams, yeah. There you go. That's what it is. What weight can I expect the chicken? They can be between those two. And with them, but on average, we can expect around, on average, we can expect the weight to be close to this value over here, 3 to 9 grams. That answers the first and the second question. First question. Second question. And then last question, which chicken feed are you confident and why? Again, same idea over here. The one thing you can try and do is you can try and use standard deviation, which you use the function stda. No. I think it is stda, yeah, stda. Oh no, I was wrong. It's standard dev. There we go. Dev. So equal stdev of this value range. All right, before we carry on here, do we know what a standard deviation is?
Yes.
On Valentine? What is a standard deviation? Valentine, can you tell me what a standard deviation is?
Okay. Standard deviation is just a measurement of the data, kind of.
What does the measurement say?
Like this summation of the data from the mean.
That's correct. Yes,
Then divided by the number of the data.
that's correct. It's the distribution of the data from the mean. That's what it says. The smaller the number, the better. I'm just going to write a note. The smaller the standard deviation, the closer the value is to the mean. That means you're more confident with the data set. Over here, this one is again the smallest, not the smallest. Horsebean is the smallest, but it's a second smallest over here. So with the third question, you can be like, I'm confident in sunflower because it's easy to predict. Confident with sunflower feed because we can predict or expect what the chicken weight can be, and we know it is the highest out of all the available AVA chicken feeds. Oh, what? There we go. Now, does this make you confident, Bola? Because I went through all the example. And again, I'm not trying to single you out. I'm just saying you're the one that raised the concern, and I hope I answered your concern.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Yeah. Once again, I have to apologize because I thought what we're doing, the entire idea behind the homework was to get you thinking and try and attempt the stuff that we've done in the previous lessons. So for example, if we've done the same idea here using the min, max, and mean. And I thought you can try and attempt the same thing for a bigger data set. And using the same idea to explain everything there. Yep, let's see what else. Did I miss anything else? No, I didn't miss anything there. So I'll go with this one. So one thing for the remaining 4 people here, we started with 7 people. So for the remaining 4 people, the homework is trying to research about normalizing data and standardizing data. And I need an answer for where should you use it and why should you use it? And also where should you not use it and why should you not use it? And then the homework will be to recreate or recomplete or redo the same analysis that I've done for the homework, which is for the chicken weights. Is everything all right? Is everyone all right with this, guys?
Yep.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Before we end the seminar or this lecture, anyone want to give me a feedback on what went wrong, what went right for me, so that I can prepare for the next course properly or the next session next Thursday properly?
Yeah, I wanted to ask though, why are we using Google Sheets and not Excel?
The reason we're using Google Sheets is so it's easy for everyone to access it.
Okay.
I don't know if everyone has Excel installed in the laptops and computers, but I know Google Sheets are free to use and do it. And for the initial stages where we're just learning about mean, max, mean, average, so min, max, standard deviations, I personally think that Google Sheets can do the same thing for you. And going forward, we'll be using Python and Excel even more.
Okay.
All right, great. Because I wanted to say I have Excel. Okay, so I'm very convenient using it. So I was thinking maybe I can use Excel to do this work.
Yeah, you can use
Yeah.
Excel to do the same thing. And
Right.
yes, Bola, I will do this one more time for you. Oh no, before I go on then, yes. Ayodeji, if you want, you can use Excel to do this thing. I will send you a link to this Google Docs so you can open it, copy the data, these 3 columns, and recreate it.
All right, thank you.
And if you have any other ideas on what else can you do, so rather than using the average rate, minimum rate, and maximum rate, if you think you can use something else to come up with ideas to explain which chicken feed is good, please use it, or please do. Yeah? Yeah, and oh, I'm not sharing the right screen. So Bola, you asked me how do we access the Google Sheets? This is the link. I will copy this link and send it to everyone on WhatsApp. Just use the link to access it. So if you paste that link over here, it will open up the same sheet that you're looking at. Yeah. All right, that's done. I'm still waiting for feedback, guys. I know I went a bit haywire this time because Emma's asked me about predictions, and because I don't have a data set I had, I tried to answer the question, and I know I must have lost a lot of people there. Is that correct? Did I lose a lot of members when I was trying to do the predictions on a data set?
All right, thank you, Vijay, for this lecture. All right, I want to comment you. It's a very good one. Okay, but I think moving forward, like you do today, even though you did not prepare for it, but I think this is the best way, especially for people doesn't have a knowledge of Excel or
Yep.
mathematics. Okay, when you have when you plan an homework, or let me say an assignment, which we are going to treat during the class, and then another one, you get it. Now the values or the data set cannot be bigger than the one we treated in class, but at least we have an idea of what, like for example, I know I can run the average weight, which is mean. The minimum is very simple for me, but initially I forgot that when I saw the data, I must first do a cleanup.
Yes.
All right. And then try to sort it. Of course, I know I will sort it. By the time I run through the data, I'm going to sort it. But I didn't think about the cleanup, that there's going to be duplicate. I just felt, okay, I'm going to run through it and everything. So now doing it in class, it helps me that, because when I'm recreating this now, the first thing I will first think about when I saw a data is to go for the cleanup, and which was what you taught us last week. So doing a practical of it now makes me to always stick to my brain that the first thing is for you to check whether you have been told or not. First check and clean up on your own. Be sure 100% that there's nothing.
I'm glad you learned this way, IDG. But if I were in your position, I would forget it. And if I make the mistake in the homework, that's when I know I have to do the cleanup. I think I learn a mistake by making mistakes, but you learn by getting taught. We have different styles of learning. But thank you for saying this. You find this session helpful or interesting, because I did feel like when I was going through the standard deviation idea, I lost everyone. I'm sure I lost at least 2 people during that period. Anyway, I'm going to stop carrying on over here, and I hope you all had a good time with the lecture. Bola said, yes, you did. Did I lose you when I was explaining about the standard deviations? Is that what you meant? Don't worry about the standard deviations thing. I would come up with proper data sets for next week and explain it properly. Thank you, Valentine.
Yeah, thank you, Vijay. I understand the whole stuff, but I think for a start, the data you presented as homework is kind of much. I'm thinking if you can, start from, let's say, 1 to 71, I think is kind of huge for a start to maybe to